Welcome to Mary Alice.
What did you do?
We are a Desperate Housewives recap podcast with me, Erin McGee.
And me, Jakub Tansey. Two best friends breaking down each episode until we answer the ultimate question, Mary Alice, what did you do?
Unless, of course, we have finished season 1, in which case, insert new mystery here.
Yes, there's a lot to unpack on Wisteria Lane.
Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
So get comfortable and let's get into this week's episode.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
I pushed record this time.
Yeah, we were halfway through the podcast and Jakub had to press record. Okay, it wasn't that bad.
No, just a little preamble we're going to repeat.
How are you, baby?
I'm okay. I'm so tired.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so burnt out. I really overscheduled myself this week. I just from Thursday to today, I've not had a single moment to myself. And last night I was at my second birthday celebration for someone of the day, not wanting to be there. And Erin messaged me something along the lines of, we're not doing a double record tomorrow. And I could have ended it all, to be honest. I could have just cancelled the pod right then and there.
But where Jakub is lucky is that where he is a yes man, I am a no gal. And in no world does someone go, do you want to just not do that? Where I don't pounce.
What I said was, we can do it, but just let me know because
no,
I'll need to go home and at midnight start taking notes for the second episode before I get up this morning and hate my life, but I'll do it.
Meanwhile, I was like, no, I have started a new save file at Stardew Valley so that I could have a black cat called Maggie in it. I'm extremely busy.
She's booked and busy.
I'm booked and busy. Speaking of, as we did last week, bit of a disclaimer, you're going to hear Maggie around. It's Maggie's world. We all have the privilege of living in it. But unfortunately, she's chosen violence today. A demon from within her has awoken and I can't tame that. Much like Lynette later in the episode, she has unleashed demons.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Your flat move-in date is rapidly approaching. I just want to do a little bit of a pulse check. How are you feeling? We have moving boxes for you.
I'm very burying my head in the sand energy at the moment about that. Anytime I think about it, I get quite overwhelmed by just choice and stuff. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll think about it later. But, later soon. So I'm going to need to think about it soon.
It's almost later. Well,
I think my biggest fear is that I've taken a week of annual leave off of work when I get the keys.
Perfect.
But if I don't get my shit together and plan what I want to do in that week, I'm not going to have anything to do for that week and I'm going to waste a week of annual leave. And I'm an annual leave hoarder. So the idea of that really stresses me out.
Yeah. I think you're going to have... I took a week off and the time to unpack, to decompress.
But I'm not moving in that week because I'm planning to do all the decorating and stuff.
So you're doing all the DIY in that week?
Probably not everything, but I want to at least paint the rooms and stuff so that after that week I can start ordering furniture and stuff and then move in over a period of time after that.
Painting takes so long.
I'm stressed. I was looking at the prices of paint the other day.
It's horrendous.
And I was like, I think I'll end it all again.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing about buying a house. And people who own property already knew this. I didn't, okay? I looked at people's houses and go, oh, that's a really kind of ugly choice. Because I thought they chose that. But they didn't. That's what they could afford. And my brain has been changed by that. I'm like, we need an under the sink cabinet. Turns out every under the sink cabinet under £500 is revolting. So I'm going to have to get one of the stupid nautical ones. I'm sorry if you have that at home, folks, that I detest. It's that kind of thing. But you're getting your keys on the 1st of May.
Yes. Well, supposed to touch wood, the legal stuff's not finished yet. There was so many
Sorry, that's all the time we have.
Greg's is here. Goodbye. Erin's going to the door. This is happening live, people. Or Greg's has arrived. She's saying, how are you? The pleasantries are underway. I can hear the bag rustling. I'm very excited for my chicken roll. That's right. You didn't mishear me. I said chicken roll, not sausage roll. They do chicken rolls now. She's coming back. Oh my God, she's holding the wreck, guys. It's here. Oh my God. Ah! So update on the board game
Yes,
that I mentioned last week. I'm going to play it today. I'm going to test it out for the first time.
With who?
And his friend.
So not me.
No. Well, that particular friend designed his own board game, which I genuinely have so much fun every time I play it. Like, I want to buy it, but it's not published. And like, I would never have gone down that rabbit hole had it not been for him. So I really wanted him to be the first person to play it.
Great.
Yeah. You sip your Greg's.
I'm not sipping a sausage roll.
It's a Greg's cup, is it not?
It's a Greg's cup. Look, okay, fine. One of my top character traits is my jealousy. So I'm just going to have to take that and put it in a box for a second. Okay. Oh my God, that's so exciting. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you. Yes, you're welcome. I don't know what for. Also, can we get a horn noise so I can bleep out his name? Thank you. Excellent work. But yeah, I have it here. I just took it out while I was unpacking.
Oh my God. You shouldn't have done this when I had pastry on my fingers. I should have washed my hands like a newborn baby. Like, I should have scrubbed in.
Don't worry, it's going to be absolutely terrible. So I'm not concerned about the quality of the card.
Is the tea like gossip? The tea.
It's drama generated.
Yeah. Oh my God, choose a player to become exposed.
Yeah, for their crimes. There's one thing we know about housewives. They're out here committing crimes.
Have you seen the Jen Shah interview?
Yes. Immediately, so many excuses.
Yeah.
So, did you watch it?
No, I saw clips of it.
So guys, Jen Shah, who went to prison live on The Real Houses of Salt Lake City, famously went on the run from the police on camera, is out of jail
She
now.
sprinted from the Sprinter van.
She's sprinting from the Sprinter van, famously. So she did her first interview post-jail, and so much of it was like, I'm taking accountability, but I really didn't know what was going on. It wasn't my fault. That was the overall vibe of the interview, and I'm like, oh girl, come on.
Did you ever watch the US Office? And there's a reason I'm asking for this.
I didn't watch any of The Office.
Yes, which is fine. Fine for this. But people on reality TV are taking accountability, and I'm using this in air quotes, the way that there's a scene where Michael Scott's character declares bankruptcy just by going, I declare bankruptcy. And it is all these housewives and all these people on reality television in general going, I take accountability, as if that's taking accountability, and it's not.
No, it's not. It's really not.
You can't just declare accountability. We thought we were going to have nothing for this preamble.
Here I am. It is the Jakub Show.
Yeah.
We've covered the full trifecta of my personality.
All my personality right now is coffee. I have one in my hand. My cat, she's running around. She's been banned from one of her toys because she has been trying to eat it. And I know she's trying to eat it because I saw her put it in her food bowl. I took it out of the food bowl, she put it back in. So she got banned, and now she's furious with us. And now, instead of this lovely sweet cat, we occasionally get Demon Cat. We've been calling her Maggie and Moggle, like Schmiegel. So there's evil Moggle. How was your Easter after you left me?
That's not a pod appropriate chat, so we're moving on.
And we're moving on.
Do you know what we're moving on to? We're moving on to my favorite episode of Desperate Housewives, my all-time favorite. I've seen this episode more times than any other episode. It just is so fun to me. And granted, it's probably not objectively the best episode, but certainly when I was younger, it cracked me up so much, and I have a lot of nostalgia for this episode.
There were moments that were so golden, and I can completely understand why as a kid this was your favorite episode. I completely understand why now this is your favorite episode. It's not mine, but I had a good time.
Yeah, it's certainly better than last week's episode.
I mean, what could not be? I mean, I think the thing is, do you know what ruins this episode for me a little bit? We'll get there, but Betty has a complete character shift in this episode from very smart woman who does horrible things because of her love for her children to like full pantomime villain, evil scientist in a lab.
And I goddamn love it. And do you know what though? I think that this is what she should have always been.
If she'd been it from the beginning, I would have more respect for it.
I think what happened is they had those episodes where she was being overly friendly, and that was very not like her because it was just a stupid decision and she's too smart for that. And so they kind of backtracked and went like too far in the opposite direction. But I really think like if they'd removed the violent keeping your son as a prisoner plotline and had her be this evil villainous type character from the beginning, it would have been perfect. Because I'm giddy at the end of this episode. I get chills.
Well, I think it's sold by the fact that Alfre Woodard is a phenomenal actress. She is up there with Marsha Cross, and some of my favorite moments of this episode are watching them play verbal table tennis, because they are both
good.
sensational. They both can shift the tone. They are both also comedic in their delivery. They feel so complementary performance-wise to each other.
Love them.
Right, everybody? This is season 2, episode 13. There's something about war.
Calling all desperados.
Are you enjoying the pod?
Want to access our episodes early and support Erin and I to keep the show running?
Well, now you can.
Over at patreon.com/modded, you can support the show for as little as £3 a month.
Why, Jakub, that's less than the price of the coffees that keep us coherent during records.
Truly, no joke. You can get a shout out from us here, access episodes a whole day earlier than everyone else, and even get access to occasional bonus watch along episodes.
Ooh.
We're aiming for monthly.
But no pressure. Seriously.
We love you either way.
It's just there if you're looking for a way to show your appreciation and help us keep doing what we do.
Want to support the show for free? Tell a friend.
Tell your mother.
Tell your aunt who you know loves Desperate Housewives.
Tell your therapist.
Tell your ex-boyfriend.
No, do not break no contact. But tell anyone who might enjoy our ramblings.
And leaving a review helps more than you know.
We love you, desperados.
That's patreon.com/modded. MAWDYD.
Now, back to the episode.
Mary Alice voiceover
Woo!
tells us that if there's one thing about Edie Britt, it's that she understands the nature of war. And we see her sat with like a slice of pie watching an old war movie. And then Mary Alice cites her many past husbands and partners, and that she's come to learn the easiest way through it is total surrender.
Which is sad. It made me quite sad that her coping technique primarily is to just be a yes person. And I think it's that I think it's people who are yes people are bound to end up in this kind of situation. Wouldn't you agree?
Personally attacked. Anyway, Carl joins her on the couch. She's enjoying her pie. We see a montage of flashback examples showing Carl walking all over her,
which made me so mad.
And it really paints Carl as quite selfish and I guess we kind of knew that was his vibe, but I think seeing solid examples of it makes me more turned off by him than I have been before.
It also really shows you what relationship Susan was in, because we know Susan's the same.
Yeah.
Susan and Edie are very similar in this way, because Susan talks about it later in the episode, and I can't help but link the two, where Susan says, I'm so used to just saying yes and going along with things so that the man will stay.
I never made that connection between Susan's plotline and this, so this is why we have Erin on the pod, people. This is why I keep her around on the Jakub show.
Guest star on the Jakub show.
You're going to be chained up in my basement, brought out to record every week.
I don't even have a basement.
And neither do I. Anyway, now that we've established that. So the day has come, though, for this soldier to take a stand. Carl switches the TV to a sports game he wants to watch, disregarding Edie and what she was in the middle of entirely. Edie seems to fold, but then she goes upstairs to access her defense arsenal, i.e. the Wisteria Lane lingerie collection.
And she looks so good. She has no business looking that good. Even for Carl, she has no business looking that good.
And Edie says, cuffs are rope.
Cuffs are rope.
And she takes a page out of Maisie Gibbons' book.
Do we think Carl ever slept with... Sorry to interrupt you. Do we think Carl ever slept with Maisie Gibbons?
I think yes, but not as a client.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct take. Yeah.
Edie says cuffs a rope and tempts Carl up to the bedroom with the promise of some kinky fun. Ooh. Tying him to the bed and says that the only thing that would make this more fun is some whipped cream.
Yeah.
Ooh. Cut to Edie back in front of the TV with her war movie, adding whipped cream to her slice of pie with Carl trapped upstairs.
Loved it.
Incredible work. Stunning cold open. Classic Desperate Housewives.
I imagine that Edie was a Girl Scout and they're like ridiculously tight. It's like they're the type of knots to get like a ship to do whatever ships do.
Yes. I don't know. Can we do a nautical theme song? I don't know how that would go.
Blub, blub, blub,
Blub,
blub,
blub,
blub.
blub, 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 blub.
Blub, blub, blub.
Blub, 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 blub. This is the fish episode.
This is the fish episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the fish episode. Oh, ooh. So, Carlos and Gaby are attending their church, and Gaby is looking at an adorable baby girl, which Carlos uses as an opportunity to apply some baby pressure. Gaby rightly wants time due to her recent miscarriage, but Carlos does not want time. Carlos wants results. Again, they don't bring up in this entire episode that he forced her into the first pregnancy, but you know what? They've forgiven each other. You know, I do think more than any other couple, Carlos and Gaby go, the past was the past.
And you know what? Maybe some other couples in this episode need to learn that.
Right.
We'll get there.
Gaby says that she feels like their marriage is finally back on track, which I feel like has been a reasonable amount of time. We've had a few episodes of them saying they're trying to work it out. They're trying to get a dialogue back with each other. We saw them starting to be intimate again. This feels like reasonable. Unfortunately, enter Sister Mary Hot Pants.
She's back, baby.
She's back. Sister Mary Hot Pants at home. Please read your Facebook messages. You have us left on red.
And we will re-record this episode to have you on it.
We'll re-record from episode 1, season 1. The second she enters, for some reason, Gaby screams at the top of her lungs, son of a bitch.
Middle of mass.
Middle of mass. And there's gasps abound the place. And she tries to blame it on someone else. And I think it's
sweet old lady behind her.
Sweet old lady.
She's like, shh.
And I think it's just the classic thing of she feels like her life is finally back on track and then the thing to ruin it.
My main note for this scene was like when she's looking at that baby that's in front of her, she does seem very like taken by it. Like, oh, hello. And I just don't believe that for Gaby. I just don't see it. I think it did feel quite forced for the plot. I get that she was starting to get excited about her pregnancy and stuff, but I don't know. It still felt for, especially like someone else's baby, her getting excited about. I just didn't see that.
I don't know. I mean, I have been very fortunate in that I have never had a miscarriage, but I do wonder if there's a degree of, oh, maybe my baby would be this old. Oh, maybe I would be, if, you know, this would be the age my baby would be now, or this would be, and there's a bit of a thing. And that's why she brings up, you know, I've just had a miscarriage.
Yeah, maybe. Fair take.
Yeah.
So in the next scene, Carlos has Sister Mary Hot Pants meet her outside in her car.
Which I didn't like.
Rather than inviting her in, knowing that Gaby hates her, and it's giving affair vibes. It really is.
It's an emotional affair.
Oh, yeah.
I'm adding it to the affair count.
Apparently, she could immediately tell when she saw him at church that he's unhappy. And this woman is absolutely hustling to get Carlos all for herself.
This is Anne Boleyn. This is literally Anne Boleyn. She's like, you know what, Henry VIII, leave Catherine of Aragon for me. It's going to be fine. And I can't help but feel in scenes like this that the actress playing Sister Mary Hot Pants has made the choice of she wants him.
I think she does. It does not feel like she's being like, it's coming from a good nun place of like, this is a bad marriage for you. I want to help you get out of the situation. It's giving, I want you all to myself.
Yes.
Anyway, she pushes the narrative that he's screwed if Gaby decides never to have kids and leaves him with a leaflet about annulments. She definitely spent her time in Botswana just scheming. No poor orphans were helped. It was just her alone in her little, whatever her accommodation was, just scheming away.
But the language around it is horrendous as well. Really didn't like it. So Carlos is talking about children, and Sister Mary Hotpants says, Gabrielle still refuses to give them to you. As if they're just a thing that Gaby needs to hand over. And as if this woman is not... And she also has no reaction to Carlos's reveal that Gaby's recently had a miscarriage. Not very nun-like.
Not very nun-like.
And then she pulls out the smoking gun, Pavlov's gun, Pavlov's pamphlet, because we know canonically that Carlos loves a pamphlet for some reason. And it's just... Sister Mary, hot plans. She's got hot plans.
Oh.
It wasn't my best, but it's fine. So right. Carlos is next approaching Gaby, and he starts with quite a nice bit of dialogue about open communication, saying he will wait however long it takes for her to have children, but that he wants a promise that they will have children. I think that it's an important talking point that this isn't a conversation as they're about to enter a marriage. They have had the children conversation, and we know that when they got married, they both agreed on no children. And the reason I bring that up is that I know a few women who have married men on that premise, and it has turned out that the man has assumed that she would change her mind. Gaby, rightly, is not promising shit.
I really enjoyed how unfazed Gaby was by the threat of annulment. She just didn't even take it seriously. She was like, girl, come on.
Can we talk about this as two recovering Catholics? How do you get annulled in the church? Because they've already consummated their marriage. So would it not be that...
I don't know. I don't know anything about annulment. I don't even know if it's a thing that you get in the UK. It seems like I've only ever heard about it in American TV shows.
I know that it can be a thing of, the marriage wasn't consummated, or if you can prove that there was like financial fraud or fraud in some way. But I don't know. It was weird.
You know, I also big fan of Gaby's tracksuit.
Big fan of the tracksuit. Is it the blue one?
Yeah, really stunning shade of blue.
I loved it.
It kind of looks like the blue of the Google Doc icon, which I'm staring at right now.
It so does. Outfit of the week, Google Docs. You know what she should have paired them with? Google Crocs.
Oh, Erin, go away. Go back to the basement, Erin.
It's a weird scene.
This is a great scene. Gaby.
The cab driver enters the scene.
Gaby goes to speak to Father Crowley, who's currently taking confessions. So Gaby joins him in the booth, and when he asks, how long has it been since your last confession? Gaby could not care less.
She literally says, who cares?
Who cares? She's here to commit sin, not to repent for it.
I loved it.
And basically, she wants him to get rid of Sister Mary Hotpants. And the long and short of it is that she lies about Carlos and Sister Mary having a physical affair.
Yes.
And quite frankly, I'm surprised that Father Crowley believes her, because he knows Gaby, and I would assume that he would take that with a pinch of salt.
I wonder if he also knows Sister Mary Hotpants, though. And he's like, she has been grafting really hard to get Carlos out of jail. She was so insistent that he'd go to Botswana with her. You know what I mean? Like, maybe he's kind of like, do you know what?
He's a smart cookie.
He's a smart cookie. And don't forget, they're massive church donors as well.
Yeah,
so they
that's true.
He doesn't want to mess with that.
It's all about politics. So they both exit.
Vatican politics is what Gaby says later.
That's the real drive of this show.
Yeah. Monster of the week is Vatican politics.
Well, my monster of the week is church related, but we'll get there.
Ooh.
So they both exit the confessional booth. Father Crowley runs off to attend to the matter at hand. But Gaby, she turns right back around. She goes back into a confessional booth, this time for its intended purpose. I was laughing so hard at the second. How long has it been since your last confession? Not that long.
She's like, I told a fib. How many Hail Marys do I have to say?
It's so funny.
It is funny. It's really funny. We then have back at the Solis house, Carlos revealing Sister Mary Hotpants is being transferred to Alaska. And he doesn't know why, and Sister Mary Hotpants doesn't know why. And Gaby is very like, oh no, no way. That's so surprising.
Great acting at bad acting.
Yeah. Carlos is sad, and Gaby, while he is sad, takes the pamphlet. I think pamphlets carry too much power on this show.
It's 2004 or 2005. It was a different time.
It is a different time. But essentially, that's the scene, right?
Yeah, it's not a very long scene.
Yeah.
And now we get the most incredible scene.
I am going to try so hard not to interrupt you, but there's one bit right at the beginning before you get into it that makes me laugh. And I have to tell you what it is.
Go for it.
It was nearly my quote of the week. Brr. I was like, do I have burr as a quote of the week? It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, Sister Mary Hotpants is scrubbing the altar clean, and Gaby stops by essentially to gloat in front of her, having heard that she's being transferred to Alaska. Brr.
She wants her, she's doing the I need you to know it was me. I want you to know that you've lost, I've outsmarted you.
Yeah, Gaby's having her villain moment in revealing the grand plan and to show that it was all her design after the annulment of it all.
Sister Mary Hotpants, however, just wishes that the church had sprung for a Roomba. Did you get the Yowlin callback?
Yes! Okay, we'll get there. So Sister Mary Hotpants points out that the problems in her marriage won't go away just because she's leaving. But Gaby is just literally so buzzing to care. And so she's not worried about that. And she goes to leave, but with her classic bitchy, you missed a spot, which, as Erin says, Yowlin callback. And this activates Sister Mary Hotpants. Something triggers in her at this moment. She's reached her breaking point, and she throws her scrubber brush thing at Gaby as she's walking away. And then Gaby comes straight back over and fully slaps Mary in the face. And to be fair, she was warned, because in an earlier episode, Gaby says, I'm so not above hitting a nun.
Yes.
And here we are. The proof is in the pudding.
The proof is in the pudding. She's doing it in her own house.
So we witness the most incredible fight scene in the middle of this church as another nun is showing a group of school kids around looking on in horror at the battle taking place. Hair is pulled, handbags are used as weapons. Sister Mary Hotpants literally catches fire from all of the candles. Gaby puts out the fire with a Jesus Saves banner that she tears down. And then having a moment of calm that you think has ended the fight, Sister Mary Hotpants just straight up bites Gaby's arm.
I loved it.
Resulting in such a comical scream that will forever and always live rent-free in my head until the day I die. That, just her expression and the scream she gives is, when I think of Desperate Housewives, that's the image that comes to mind right there.
Would you mind, for the lovely people at home, doing a small impression of the scream?
Ah!
That sounds like me doing a horn.
New bleep noise just dropped.
You also sound like a
Yeah, I can't do it.
It's like an alpaca.
I never you got to watch it for yourself. Just put it that way. That was not an accurate representation of the noise.
Yes, Eva Longoria is very proud of her scream.
Hey, I ain't an actor, you guys. So
it.
they're rolling across the church in front of the altar until eventually a priest comes in to break up the fight. And basically, my only note here is, if you ever watch just one episode of Desperate Housewives, get this on, guys. Get this on. I have nothing to say about this scene other than it being the most iconic moment in the show's history for me.
I think it also really works well with Gaby's storyline later. Like, this is comical, but Gaby has a complete arc that is a lot more complex, where she shows that she has a lot of distrust and anxiety and fear around churches. And you know what? This probably didn't help.
Nope. It really
probably didn't help.
Oh, maybe that's when we'll get Sister Mary Hotpants on the pod for like those later episodes in season 8. Anyway.
So, Gaby pulls up and her hair is crazy.
My main note for this scene is the amount of times over the course of this show that Gaby says she's off to her hair appointment, even though her hair looks perfect. This is the moment she needs to go for a hair appointment.
I know. But I think it's just that she's happy. Carlos is angry. Gaby's hair is crazy. Gaby quite rightly says, yeah, you know what? The ass I should have been kicking is yours.
Snaps for Gaby.
She says, I found this scene quite touching, actually. We're classic Carlos and Gaby, starts super toxic, starts really comedic, ends up quite heartfelt. Gaby feels like a uterus in high heels. and doesn't want to be blackmailed into giving birth. And she's saying, I need you to choose me. I need it to be that it's me, and it's not just that you are wanting this thing. And rightly, she also says, what about, you're asking me to make this promise. What about the promise you made me? What about the for better, for worse? What about when we made our vows and you said you didn't want kids, And Carlos says, I do choose you. If it's coming down to it, I choose you. And it's in that moment, Gaby also decides to choose Carlos, and she reveals she does want a baby. And I got emotional. And I literally wrote in my notes, why am I getting emotional? This is so messed up.
It's so cute.
They hug. So cute. Gaby seems genuinely relieved. I will say, I found this all super nice and super lovely. There seems to be hope for Gaby and Carlos here.
I mean, I feel like their plotline is always flip-flopping.
Yeah, it's like
most.
They're together, then they're apart.
Not even in terms of they're together and apart, but in terms of they're doomed and this will work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? But I do love them both in this scene because Gaby is so right and Carlos realizes he was wrong and they kind of come together very nicely. It was very cute.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Carlos is absolutely allowed to change his feelings over time about kids. There's nothing wrong with that. His feelings are so valid in that way. He's allowed to bring it up. Mm-hmm. It's just, the whole blackmail of it all.
It's the blackmail. It's the fact that Gaby is still reeling from a miscarriage that was the result of a pregnancy he put upon her unwillingly by adjusting her birth control medication. That they're still in a place in their relationship where they're recovering from an affair and from Carlos's incarceration. Sorry, I just remembered the incarceration barbecue. And the fact that Brie brought George. It was like, hey, my friend's having a party for Queen Danielle. I love this show. I think Carlos and Gaby do such a phenomenal job of being like, these toxic people are made for each other.
They really are.
And that's Gaby.
Cabby. What did we used to call them?
I was just thinking that.
Because it wasn't Carlos.
Gab.
Are we just thinking of Carly, which was
Yes.
Carl.
Because we had
Brandy.
Carly and Carly too. We had Carly with with a K and an I. Yeah. That was Brandy and Carly. Yeah. Oh so God. We had Carly for Carlos and Gaby.
We were on break for too long. We can't even remember what we're calling these characters.
Carly and Gaby. I think it's Carly before affair, Gaby after.
I was about to say AF, AD after affair, but then AF obviously has.
They are cab drivers as fuck. Is that what you're trying to say?
I guess.
Let's go.
Let's move on to Susan.
Let's move on to the next arc.
Dr. Ron drops Susan back home after a date, and she is thirsty for some Dr. Ron. She's dropping hints left, right, and center, but Dr. Ron is very clearly not interested in coming in.
It's offensive. He suggests turning the TV on for company.
I mean, Susan eventually calls him out on it as he's going to leave, and I would too. Mm-hmm. So I get it, Susan. Yeah. Apparently, they've been on 3 dates now, but as we know, Dr. Ron takes his job very seriously, and she is still his patient, essentially.
And she still has a wandering spleen.
She still has that wandering spleen. But he does let slip slightly and gives her a proper smooch on the porch before he goes. And this scene is the most that I will ever like Dr. Ron because I feel it's all downhill from here.
I think he is super beige, but even beiger than Mike. Because whereas
that's a challenge.
Well, Mike is sometimes funny.
That's true.
And
that's so true.
Dr. Ron is his entire personality is that he is a doctor who is fascinated by Susan and her wandering spleen. That is his entire character. I don't think we're meant to care about Dr. Ron.
And we don't.
We're just meant to see this as a paving stone towards her eventually going back to Mike.
But we do deeply care for a character in this next scene.
Yes. Susan has her spleen. And Dr. Ron says they had a staff meeting and everybody agrees to remove the spleen, if I understand correct. I just love the idea of like people who are not medical professionals who work in the building, the receptionists, the janitors are like, take it out, I vote, take it out. Did they vote? Was it a democracy? Dr. Ron wants to slice and dice himself. Susan, I think rightly, doesn't want the first time he sees her naked to be this formal setting of her being operated on.
Also feels very unlike Dr. Wrong, who's showing intense professionalism when this is clearly a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Because whether he goes in after the date and sleeps with her or not, they're dating.
Yes, I agree. Jakub, do you know how I had surgery 2 years ago? I had an endometriosis diagnosis through a laparoscopy. Do you know how they're done?
Is it like the keyhole surgery, if I remember correctly? Yeah.
So you are tilted on a table like this. So this would be my head. And
40,
right.
Oh, okay. So 45
top,
degree angle with feet up.
With my legs either side open while someone's above me at the business end. I found this out after the fact, and that was all I could picture was like the thought of then going on a date with my surgeon. And he's like, "Hey, before things get personal, you should get that mole checked. It's important." Anyway, so guess who pops in but our favorite nurse?
Our bestie.
And our bestie, Dagny Kerr. Nurse Heisel's here.
She's
and
back, babe.
She's like, guess what? Congrats, because it's going to be his very first splenectomy. Tee-hee-hee.
I miss her iconic hair from her first episode, though, I will say.
I know. Why did they have to nerf her like that?
She was too powerful. They were like, if the fans get too attached, we'll have to keep her on as a series regular.
Yes. Or she's like reeling from the guilt of what happened to Mama Sully's. Also, this is all very clever, this episode, because this scene, I might be giving everybody too much credit again. This scene and her coming back immediately before we see where this episode goes reminds us of what happened to Mama Sully's.
Oh my God, Erin, you're so clever. I literally didn't make that connection. Again, I just miss all these, and I watched the episode twice.
I think so anyway. I think that's part of it. Like, they're in the hospital and we immediately are brought back to that. And it's so good because it pays off so much later. No,
you're so right. I'm so surprised that I just don't pick up on these things. They're so obvious when you point them out.
If it helps, when I'm saying it, that's when I'm thinking it for the first time. Like, I made that connection as it was coming out of my mouth. I didn't write it down.
Incredible work.
It's not in my notes. I will show you them after. My notes are like, boop, 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 boop. And then I start talking and my mouth just runs away with itself.
Fantastic. I did also clock that Dagny is in another iconic set of scrubs. At least they kept that for her.
Yes, I think that was probably on like Dagny's rider.
Yeah.
Must have stunning. She's like, my character needs stunning scrubs.
Scrubs of the week.
Speaking of Dagny, during the nun fight, I was imagining Eva Longoria, them having to cut around her wearing Uggs during this scene. And it made me laugh.
Excellent. So now we're on a dinner date in Susan's home. And let me tell you, guys, Dr. Ron, he can't handle his meat. So Dr. Ron is at Susan's for this.
I hate you.
Susan has, for some reason, despite everything we know about her cooking skills, decided to cook a steak dinner for this man. And naturally, in classic Susan style, it's horribly cooked. And Susan looks equally horrified herself as she watches him hack away wildly at the meat on his plate, presumably imagining him cutting her open in the same way. And she asks how confident he is about doing the surgery and essentially tells him that she's not comfortable with him doing it. And I think that my quote of the week is part of this interaction when she comments that he can't even cut the steak.
Yeah.
And he says, well, that's not fair. You overcooked it. And frankly, it's not the freshest meat. And then Susan says, well, neither am I. I've got 35 years on that cow.
This is another example for me of I don't care for Susan. I love Terry Hatcher's performance of Susan.
Very, very good, fair take.
Yeah.
So Dr. Ron's ego takes a bruising and Jakub gets the ick because Ron essentially storms out. He has a bit of a angry fit.
You calling him Ron?
Yeah, he's being demoted. This man is really such a baby. He stormed off.
He is a baby. And so is Susan. She's only 35. This is crazy.
But like, I'm pretty sure this is the second time he's like stormed off angrily now since he's known Susan. I don't think I could date a doctor in general, to be honest. Like when I see someone's profession listed on their dating profile as doctor, I'm always hesitant because they're always going to be busy or tired and they really do tend to have bigger egos. And I'm just like, I just can't be bothered with that.
I don't know what profession I'd be like, yes. And there are certain professions that I will not disclose that I definitely, if I encountered them on a dating website, would be like, no. But I will say taxidermist would not be an immediate no.
And that's fair. I think I'd be drawn to that. That's interesting. It's quirky.
Well, I think that's the thing. If it also depends how people talk about their work and how passionate they are and how much of it is. I couldn't be with a person whose work is their entire life.
Yes. Oh my God. That's the perfect way to put it. That is the perfect way to put it. Because I feel like doctors have to make a big part of their life about that.
Understandable. And I think also people who are with people who have work being their entire lives tend to be with people who have work being their entire lives.
Power couple.
Yeah, a power couple. And I
want to be in a lazy couple.
Oh, yeah. I think as someone who I pursued my passion and I did the thing of like, this is my entire life. And it just broke me. And now I'm a lot happier having a job that's not my ideal career or what I wanted, but the job is now something that I just do. Mm-hmm. And I'm so much better for it that I think that I also have to be with a person
I completely agree. Wow, we've not had a dating advice section on this podcast for a while, but here we are. That's our advice, guys. Find someone on your professional level.
Well, just find someone who's split of where they put their time.
Yeah.
It's the same as your split. Because also equally, I need somebody who understands that my friends are going to be in my house all the time. Like, Rory knew that straight away. He's like, they're going to be people. My friends are my family. They're going to be in our house probably once a week.
At least.
At least. So there's something very important that is revealed in this scene. And there's a reason I asked, because you called him Ron. Did you know that Ron is his surname?
I did not.
I'm not kidding.
This. Oh my God. Wait, what's his name?
I was screaming. So
he went right over my head. Again, I watched it twice.
He goes into the car and Susan goes, Jim.
Oh, no. His name is not Jim Ron.
His name is Jim
Ron. Ah!
He's Jim Ron. His name is Jim Ron. So when you were like Ron, I was like, oh no, baby. Oh no.
Not Jim Ron.
Jim Ron. I can't wait to listen to our previous episode's cut and find out that we already knew this. And we just So, next scene. Susan shows up at work for Jim Ron. She waited for 3 hours for him to finish his surgery. This is a great Susan scene. This is my Susan scene of the season, I think.
I agree, actually, on that, yeah.
And she says she will not jump through hoops to stop men from leaving. And she does a weird little snap and gets ready to leave. And Jim Ron reveals that she's been there for 3 hours, but 2 hours ago.
Sorry. Jim Ron sounds like one first name.
Totally
so I'm like, well, where's the surname?
Jim Ron's great. Also, the fact they called him Dr. Ron is amazing. Okay, I'm back. So Jim Ron reveals that the flowers, champagne, and an apology note are at Susan's door because he knows that he was being stupid. And from Susan's behaviour, from his behaviour, from the wandering spleen, from Susan faking her diagnoses, all that I can say is Jim Ron has to be a little crazy, right? There has to be something wrong with Jim Ron. And it's not just that his name is Jim Ron.
But that could have been an origin of it, though.
I also really like that Susan is absolutely floored by this good communication and apology.
But do you know what, though? Obviously, I love that Susan is standing up for herself here, but I also think that shows that she's not actually that into him, because if she was, I think she would have folded like a piece of paper.
That's true. I think Dr. Ron is Dr. Wrong for Susan.
Episode title,
Right.
Dr. Ron is Dr. Wrong.
Yes.
Jim Ron, how about...
Jim Wrong.
Yeah. No, that's not the same ring to it. Anyway.
Jim Ron is Dr. Wrong. Okay, we'll workshop it.
Yeah. Come back to us next week.
yeah. See you next week. Happy New Year. And but what's interesting is I think he is a stepping stone to Mike. We know this. But he is the man that on paper should work for Susan.
And but listen, on paper rarely translates to in person.
Completely agree.
And online dating has proven that, I think, to the world.
Completely agree. I'm trying to think of who. I'm such a loser. I'm like, oh, who would my type on paper be? But it's very hard when you've been in a relationship for a decade not to just picture your partner.
Yeah.
Ugh, disgusting.
Well, I'll see like on paper, it's often things like listing the same hobbies and interests and a
Yeah.
similar career path, maybe, and oh, we have the same favorite restaurant. Cool.
Yeah.
But like then you meet up and the vibe is immediately nah.
I'm very attracted to, not just romantically, but in friends. I want someone who does something that I've never done, or someone who can teach me something. Like, even if it's like, I paint Warhammer miniatures and I can ask questions and be like, what's that? Why do you do that? Like, I want to learn
I
something.
love that. I think what's interesting is that I've properly dated 3 people and they were all wildly different. So I'm
Because
just
the first was me.
yeah. So I'm just like, I don't really know what necessarily that would look
Yeah.
like on paper because I don't have a pattern to
Yeah.
refer to. But I think that just shows that like it's not about on paper, it's about just the vibe you have.
Yeah. And sometimes, you can account for all the qualities that you want, but chemistry is everything. And they've got none of it.
1,000,000%. So Lynette is up late, struggling with work stuff, and I don't understand why she is doing it alone rather than with a team when supposedly it's like the biggest pitch in the company's history the next day, and it's all on her alone. I don't really understand that, but that's by the by.
Isn't it a thing, though, that when once everyone was fired, Lynette and Ed are kind of doing the grunt work, like the most of it?
That feels like it's been settled now. That's old news. And because we know that they're going to be looking to hire someone in this episode, so
But isn't
obviously
that
they have
based-
some money back.
But that's because of this pitch going well. She says, the pitch went
That's
so well, we
true.
can finally hire
Okay,
another
well.
ad exec.
Spoilers. In any case, in any case, Tom puts on a pot of coffee and stays up to help her brainstorm. And this seems to get Tom's sort of creative juices flowing. And I get it, because I always need some kind of creative output myself, which I guess he doesn't have right now. However, it's clear that Tom is not good at this. And it's
Yeah.
late and he's not done any prep, but still, they're clearly playing it as Lynette is better at this.
Yes, but I did really like, and I'm giving Tom credit.
Like, they are the opposite of Carlos and Gaby,
Yes.
who start poor and end strong. Lynette and Tom always start strong and end bad.
Correct.
And so this is where Tom gets his flowers, which will soon be taken away.
Yeah, because even him being like, her saying, I've got to stay up all night, and him saying, I'll get the coffee.
Yeah,
It's
she
so-
literally says, no, go to bed. And he still
Like,
stays up. Yeah.
He's like, no, we're a team. This is the, it's very kind and loving in that moment. And it is nice for Tom to get an opportunity to use that side of the brain again. His pitches are wild.
They really are.
I think he works better as Lynette's muse. And Tom thinks because he's the muse that it's all his idea. When actually it's really clear, even in the beginning of this arc, that Lynette is going, oh, you said a key word that reminded me of something else, but this is not your idea.
Yeah. So literally, as you just said, Lynette picks up on a passing comment from Tom and develops it into a full-blown idea that Tom is very proud of himself for contributing. And it's clear where this plotline is going, I think. But for now, Tom didn't go to bed despite Lynette saying he should and is doing his best to help. So snaps for Tom in this scene specifically. If we were doing the husband rankings now, it'd be a great time. We'd all go to bed happy.
We'd all go to bed happy, like little Maggie. in the corner.
Oh.
So Lynette calls Tom while she's at work to let Tom know that their pitch, the talking cows, rocked their world. I said that funny, rocked their world. The talking cow reminded me of Jakub, UK reference here. Dairy Dunkers, the laughing cow.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I could think about. I think it's interesting that every idea that Tom says, oh, did they like this? Did they like this? Did they like this? Lynette did not say. Lynette says she, in fact, rewrote some of their ideas, quite a lot of which she's changed and made her own.
She's clearly just trying to spare his feelings a bit, rather than being like, no, I didn't use that. She's like, well, we had to cut some stuff for time.
Yes, she's trying very hard to spare his feelings. And Lynette says what we said earlier. Ed has agreed to hire another executive based on the success of the pitch.
My only note on this scene is that Lynette's shirt matches her office and she's blending in, baby. Lynette comes home and asks Tom if there's anyone from his old company he could recommend for her work's job opening. And Tom...
You should get that girl. You know the one that Tom had the thing with? What's her name again?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember. But Tom decides to put himself forward, and Lynette is definitely not keen on this idea. And I think it's clear to everyone watching the episode at home how poorly that would go. It would definitely just exacerbate all the conflicting parts of their dynamic. Whether he's right for the position or not aside, I don't think, and I think we all would agree, that it's a good idea for them to work together.
Yes, I think he makes some great points for him working at another advertising company.
Yes.
So that if they neither of them seem to have happiness raising their children, but with two incomes, they could comfortably afford a nanny. Lynette has advocated for daycare now. Tom's not happy. Lynette wasn't happy, so maybe this can be a great compromise for them. Maybe having more money will be very useful for them. But to ask your partner to be your boss, not even work together, be your boss, is not ideal.
Recipe for disaster.
He thinks, oh, but that's how we started our relationship because we were attracted to each other. And I fear that he is not thinking about the person, the people they have both become since then.
Their dynamic clearly isn't the same as all those years ago.
Yes.
Do you think that if you and Rory worked in the same place, it would go well?
This is a crazy question because Rory and I met working at the same place.
Okay, Tom and Lynette.
Okay, Tom and Lynette. Yeah, we met working at the same place. And for a while, I think he was technically like a team leader. He wasn't my supervisor, but I guess in some ways my boss.
But has your dynamic changed after all these years? So now, 2026, do you think that would work?
No, I don't think so. I think we'd kill each other because, again, I love having stuff to tell him about.
Yeah.
And there's little things like, what if that co-worker that I'm mouthing off on, he's like, oh, actually, they were really nice to me. And, you know, you should have a life outside your partner.
1,000,000%.
Your partner should be like the beautiful corner jigsaw pieces of your life.
Oh, that's such a nice way to put it.
And, you know, you have these wonderful bits of framing around. You have your friends and your loved ones. And the middle, it makes making the middle so much easier, but it's not everything.
That's such a beautiful metaphor. Oh my God. Oh my God, Erin.
She's back.
Something else I picked up on, which I may be reading too much into, but you love that shit.
Yeah.
So last week you mentioned that Tom doesn't take the idea of kids seriously. And I feel like there's an example of that here where he disregards being a stay-at-home parent as not being a real job. And like, I know what he means when he says that, but you know, it clearly just kind of shows he doesn't value it in the way that Lynette did when she was a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same reverence for it that Lynette does. I also think it's interesting that we're seeing examples of him, and I don't know why this was done. I want to know your thoughts on it. Of the good one coming downstairs, constantly asking for his toothbrush. I think it's just to show that Tom is now the default parent in the way that Lynette was the default parent. But there was more to it of like, I think it was to show how frustrated Tom is being the default parent. And this idea that he isn't getting any fulfillment out of it because it's something that's like, Daddy, where's my toothbrush? Whereas what Tom wants is like adult play that he gets from being an advertising exec, the spinning off stuff, the lack of stakes in some way. It was just interesting.
Yeah,
So,
I did note that I was going to point out that the good one is in the scene, but I only noted it because I just feel like it's been ages since we saw the kids, and I was like, oh, I forgot they had kids,
right.
which is such a major part of their whole plot. But
The only one we've seen really recently is Penny. So Ed and Lynette are back in the company and they are stressing because nobody they've interviewed as a new executive is meeting Lynette's very high standards. Enter Tom Cavos. Tom says he is going over Lynette's head, accuses Lynette of competing with him, which is complete projection, by the way, because it's Tom that is always competing with Lynette. It's not even a competition for Lynette because she's always winning. First, Lynette is brutally honest, saying that Tom has moments of brilliance, but he sometimes coasts. And she doesn't want to have to ride him all day. I don't know what other word to use that doesn't make it sound dirty, but she basically doesn't want to be on at him all day. And then they get home and he resents her. And Tom says that he already resents her and that there's a part of him that has hated her ever since Lynette messed up that promotion for him. And it is that moment that we get the return of Pat, the Mormon receptionist, who's just had her sixth child, who's presumably running the daycare. He's going to go do the interview, letting his resume speak for himself. And Lynette gets an idea. ...
He says at one point, or Lynette's like, what do you think you're doing? And he says, I'm going over your head. And I'm just like, you mean exactly what you're mad at Lynette for doing in season 1?
Correct.
Interesting. We'll get into it. So we're now in the interview and Ed is vibing with Tom. And I kind of am not surprised by this because I get the impression that they relate on a frat boy energy level.
Yeah, they very well may be soulmates.
And if memory serves, that will become more clear as the season goes on. So Lynette is doing everything she can to tank this interview. Obviously, she's very familiar with Tom's employment history and knows all of the weak points to point out in question and target. However, we all remember Ed hiring Lynette on the spot while she was changing baby Penny's nappy. So it does track that he would do the same with Tom here. Much like us with dating, he goes based on vibes. It doesn't matter what's on paper.
Oh my God. And it's so weird that he's like, I never hire in the room. When we've only seen him hire in the room. We've never seen him not hire in the room.
I do think we should just go straight into the next scene so we can talk about this arc properly.
So Lynette comes home and tells Tom that Tom got the job. And she says it is subject to him making a vow never to throw the promotion thing in her face ever again. Or she will, as she puts it, unleash demons. Lynette says she wants forgiveness. She's really upset. And Tom says he already had. To which Lynette eats the dinner prepared by Tom, saying, this dinner is really good. It's a horror movie. It's a horror film.
You're right, Lynette is upset, but she's not mad, which she should be. I'm raging watching this scene. I so firmly believe that once you forgive someone for something, you cannot throw it in their face again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you haven't actually, in fact, forgiven them. And quite frankly, I thought it was established that he forgave her when Lynette agreed to go back to work so he could be a stay-at-home dad. I guess that wasn't as clear last season as I thought it was, but Tom does say very clearly that he had already forgiven her. And so using that as leverage here is so awful. It really pissed me off because that's just something that personally really bothers me, generally speaking. And I usually try to at least see Tom's perspective more so than you, I think, when we do these scenes. And like, he wants a job. Sure, I have no problem with him arguing his case. Much like Carlos has kind of changed his mind over time, Tom's changing his. And that's okay. Yes. I have no problem with him arguing the case. He made some valid points earlier. But don't bring up the past like that unfairly to get what you want. I hate it.
I think no relationship works if you're keeping score. You just can't keep score because it's never going to be even. You can never do the, well, I did this thing for you, so you need to do this. That is never, your relationship will not survive.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're getting into the score, I feel like Tom keeps score and Lynette doesn't. She's not saying, I had to give up my high-level career for you to stay at home. I had to get over my addiction because I was so unhappy. You were threatening to be away for half of the year, which is why I did those things. And now you are ruining my job by showing up at my place at work, which I explicitly asked you not to do. And I have just gone through your CV and I'm telling you all the instances of the evidence of how flaky you are. And you are uprooting our entire life again, potentially, by doing this. But also at the same time, she is being appreciative of the dinner because Lynette is appreciative of the homemaker stuff and Tom isn't. He doesn't, as you said, he doesn't see it as a real job in the beginning, but she is doing what she needed from him at the time, which is this dinner is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I think actually this might be the maddest I've ever been at Tom. And I think objectively it's far from his lowest point, but subjectively to me, this is what would annoy me the most if I was in Lynette's position. And so it just astounds me that Lynette is almost grateful to be forgiven.
I think she has been harboring a lot of guilt for taking that role and position away from him. And this is that coming to light. I think I'm still not as mad as I was about the nanny.
Oh, right, yeah.
Still not as mad as I was about the nanny. But yeah, it's just not good. Will we move on to Brie and Betty? Because this is the most fascinating arc of the episode, in my personal opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Fascinating.
What a good time. Well, what a time.
For whom?
Yeah, that's very subjective there. Betty comes home to find that Matthew has let Caleb out of his basement prison cell and is setting up the spare bedroom upstairs for him by taping newspapers to the windows. Betty is aghast at this decision, not remotely confident that Caleb understands the situation and the rules that Matthew sort of put in place for him, and convinced that her own actions were keeping him safe. But Matthew has had it with Betty and essentially takes a stand since he is also sharing in the risk, which he very fairly points out. Because it's all risk that Betty's chosen to take on, but, Matthew, he'll be just as facing the consequences for this at this point. And I think that, although this is still my favorite episode, this is definitely the lowest point of the episode because we just get so much more violence from Betty, which I think at the time I definitely didn't understand, the racial connotations and all of that kind of stuff when I was younger at all, straight over my head. But, it's still my favorite episode outside that.
There's a lot of, I think, as usual with the Applewhites in this show, unfortunately, there's a lot of racism in this arc and a lot of not many, because that sounds like I'm trying to dilute it in any way. Moments of racism that probably didn't read as racism at the time is what I'm trying to say. Moments that we can now recognize as racism. And it's like, oh yeah, but it's not that big of a deal. But actually it is that big of a deal if this is your depiction of people. And this is the kind of, you're taking one of the most famous shows in the world at the time. And this is how you're representing people in it. So you have a responsibility as the showrunners and as the writers to depict them in a way that is human.
That's the word for sure.
Also, the beginning of the scene, Mary Alice says, the guest bedroom on the second floor of the Applewhite house has the best view. You can see the old Hooper place and Mike's house. So presumably, she is saying that they are two opposite ends of the lane. Now, I spent a good 20 minutes trying to dissect this, and I don't think it's correct. But I think I'm going to next episode come to you with all of my findings.
I can't wait.
Because the map here is all sorts of messed up, but I've been on the wiki. I've been on the general map. People are like, here's what the lane looks like in season 8. And it's completely different from how it looks in season 1. And then I looked at Mike's map of the lane from his inside his cupboard. And I went, I can't trust Mike. That doesn't make any sense.
Mike's been too busy coming up with fake names for Tom to use when he turns up to Lynette's work.
But Mike can't be at the top of the lane because Susan crosses the road to get to Mike's house, directly crosses the road, and the Applewhites are next door to Susan. And the top of the lane, I think, is technically Edie.
That's what I thought. I thought Edie and Mike were neighbours, but Edie's at the end. Yeah.
What's going on? Can't be the whole... What? Something's not adding up, guys. Let's talk about a scene that I thought one thing of as a child and now think of something completely different. Brie comes home and goes upstairs, but Danielle and Matthew are macking. Danielle is desperately trying to hide him and she's lying about doing her homework. Brie wants to do some laundry and she comes in and starts picking up clothes. Matthew's a bit of an idiot here and hands her a garment
I
from
read
under
it
the bed.
I read it as he's trying to like grab his clothes and pull it under the bed before she sees, but unfortunately his hand does poke out.
Yes, and Brie says, Danielle, a question. Is there a black man hiding under your bed? Now, the delivery of this is meant to be quite funny, but obviously he is not a man, he is a young boy, and his race should be irrelevant. And the stereotype that black men will be in some way causing harm to impressionable young white women is disgusting and has occurred for a very long time. And I don't like the way that this kind of appeases that. I will say that Brie's closed-mindedness, and I think here it's fair to say racism, makes sense because at this point in the series, we know she's very conservative. We know she's very closed-minded. If she is being so cruel about Andrew being gay, then it is not a giant leap to assume that she has this over-idealized, over-conservative viewpoint.
Yeah, I agree with that. Brie brings Matthew and Danielle back to Betty's, but before she's even finished explaining what happened, Betty slaps Matthew right in the face really hard and shuts down the conversation immediately, apologizing to Brie and explaining the house is up for sale. It won't happen again. Goodbye. This conversation is over. Period. And
it seems like it's going to be funny at first. Like, you almost think it's going to be funny because Brie shows up like a mother cat holding two little kittens by the scruff. Being like, these have been bad kids. And then the slap, like, it scared me. It scares Brie. It scares Danielle.
It is a jump scare.
It's a jump scare.
You don't see it coming.
And again, just like the overwhelming violence.
I think that as much as I don't like Betty's actions, it does feel so much more like her compared to the last few episodes. And I think by the end of this one, we talked about this a bit earlier, but by the end of this episode, she's more established not just as a bad person, but as a villain. And I think that helps me with finding the plot a little more entertaining and a little less horrifying.
Yeah.
And that's certainly aided by the fact that they don't have Caleb chained up in the basement anymore. But it's more, it just feels like less of a depiction of a bad human and more of a caricature again, which starts to kind of help you remind you, like, do you know what I mean? Do you see where I'm going with that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense. Maybe that is easier. I'm just seeing it as like, she has completely lost control at this point. Like, all bets are off. She has no control over her house. She has no control over either of her sons. The police are closing in. This is, for lack of a better term, a desperate woman. And so she is perhaps acting in a way that isn't particularly like herself. The problem is they didn't give us enough time to know her in the first place.
Yeah.
For us to be like, she's acting out of character. This isn't her, you know? So, yeah, tricky.
Yeah. There was never any redeeming quality. We never saw like a fun, good side to her.
She plays the piano.
Oh, and where is the piano?
Did we know that she plays piano? Has that ever been brought up? She was a pianist.
Oh, my goodness.
We next have a very, very bothered queen.
Very bothered.
Danielle is scream crying in bed with her polar bear teddy.
It's so dramatic.
And Brie comes in to comfort her. Danielle says that she's jealous because my life is just getting started and yours is over. And she performs this monologue that I have written down.
Oh, please, I'm begging.
Which is incredible. And also the most we've ever heard Danielle speak. By a lot.
Oh my God, go for it, babe.
She says, Daddy's dead. You drove your boyfriend to suicide. You're getting older by the minute, and soon you'll be so dried up and bitter that no man will ever want to touch you ever again. And now you're determined to ruin my life, so I have to stay with you here to keep you company while you turn into an old fossil.
I love her. I love how everything she's throwing at Brie is so ridiculous that it doesn't seem to upset Brie at all. She's more just, I think, confused, it seems, by the severity of her daughter's reaction. Like, where is this coming from, Danielle?
And as someone who was once a 15-year-old girl, I understand Danielle 100% at this moment. And I'm not even kidding. This, if anything, downplaying it. I think we forget that she maybe has a sexual relationship at this point with Matthew, or at least seems more sexual than her relationship with John Rowland. So it seems like this is her first sexual encounter, or this, that kind of, that's what we're talking. First love, first kind of zone. And it is like all consuming, and your hormones are out the wazoo, and every single moment feels like a moment of life and death. But yeah, Bree's just sitting there taking it. She's like, first of all, did not drive my boyfriend to suicide and basically murdered him. Next charge. Getting older by the minute, so are you. Next, soon I'll be dried up in bitter. Hun, you're about to see my character arc bloom after this. So, I'm obsessed with Danielle in this scene. It is so funny. And I do find it slightly endearing that Bree is trying to fix it all by saying, I, Bree Vandekamp, am not in the mood to cook tonight. I was thinking of ordering a pizza.
And Danielle got me so hungry when she said she wanted Canadian bacon. I was like, yeah.
I'm
choice.
guessing that's her comfort food. But I do like that she's like, fix it to Bree.
Don't just want it, make it happen.
She's like, get me my boyfriend back.
She also wants results.
I want results. But yeah, she just goes back to scream crying at her pillow again. The only thing that would have made it better for me is if she was listening to like Dido or something in the background, because that was very me. I was a lot of emo music. I was putting a lot of passive aggressive lyrics in my MSN name. I once had a boy who I'd completely forgotten that we had like a little crushy thing on when I was about 11, and I posted something at age 13 that was about someone else, and he messaged me out of the blue, hadn't spoken to him in years, being like, is this about me? And I went, no, it's about someone else. And he was like, sounds like it's about me. And I was really tempted to be like, this is about Jim Ron, okay? Let me tell you all my business. And that was
my goodness. So later in the Applewhite household, Betty is talking to Caleb about Matthew and Danielle's situation, and Caleb mentions in passing that she's very pretty. And Betty does not respond well to this. She threatens him with, you guessed it, more violence if he ever looks twice at Danielle again. I think we've established the assumption at this point that Caleb killed Melanie Foster, who was also a pretty girl, presumably. I can't remember if I've seen a picture or not.
Yeah, we did.
For anyone who's wondering why Betty is reacting this way to an ultimately innocent comment.
It seems like perhaps, if we're giving Betty some grace here, that was a type of comment he made about Melanie that she saw as the start of his obsession. Is probably kind of what she's thinking, I have to nip this into the bud now. But she fully is evil at this point. Like, it's unreasonable levels of villainy.
It's intense. She's like, I'll hit you twice as hard or something.
And she's like, and I won't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, for someone who later in the episode is talking, if you explain, in the beginning of the episode, she's saying, Matthew's given him these instructions. She's saying, Caleb's not going to remember it. He doesn't understand. To then be saying things like, I'm going to hit you if you look at this woman another way, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. He's not going to understand that either. It just feels so,
Very,
Right, next. Caleb is in his window with the best view of the lane, allegedly, and he's sneaking through the little papers that have been taped to the window. Bree approaches Betty with the concern that it's very valid that if you try to keep kids apart, it'll only make them sneak around and want to be together even more. They're going to think they're Romeo and Juliet. Betty suggests that Bree keeps Danielle under control and she'll keep Matthew under control. Control is the only option. She's having none of Bree's suggestions of chaperoned visits. It is then that Bree spots Caleb in the window and off she runs. Now, at first, I thought she just thought, who's that? And then I realized Bree's made some connections because Bree is... Now, if this had been Mike...
Mike would have been like, little wave, and then walked off back home, not a second thought entering his brain.
Mike would have been like, who is that charming young fella up there?
Oh my God, I have two things to say about this scene. One is that when you take all like the violence and stuff out of Betty's arc, I do love seeing her be this like cold, hard woman. It's fun to watch her be like that. And second is that if this was a plot line with Andrew and another man, there would be no suggestion of chaperoning. B would be like, I'm controlling my kid and you keep your gay son the fuck away. Almost said a different word. So I'm just saying.
I wonder if Bree's more on board at this point because she's like, at least it's not a girl. I can't handle Danielle being with a girl at this point. I can't cope.
Fair. So Bree marches back to, I guess, her archives because for some reason she has kept every newspaper that's ever been in her possession, it seems like.
I literally wrote Bree's an archivist. Like,
crazy. She confirms her suspicion by finding the paper reporting on the break-in at Gaby's house.
Sorry, I just totally made a connection. And you're going to love it, I think.
Oh my God, I can't wait. What have I also missed?
Shall
I finish this scene?
You've not missed, but from why she has so many newspapers, coupons. She keeps the newspaper because of her coupon clippings.
Does she have coupons? Is that established? I thought that was more of a Lynette
No,
thing.
she does, because remember she does the coupon clipping and finds her face on the back from George's engagement announcement.
So why is she... Yeah, but there's no way all those coupons are still valid. Once she's cut them out, why is she keeping this like leftover remnants of a newspaper? Okay, that was not quite the revelation I was expecting, but fair point.
Come on, guys, I peaked too early.
So she goes to make a phone call, and while the phone's ringing, she explains to Danielle that the Applewhites are harboring Gaby's attacker and forbids her to go over there. Now, I thought Bree was calling the police in this moment, which would have made sense. Big Bad Barton needs to be in the know. But she is, in fact, calling the girls over to poker night with the promise of big news.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to me until my second watch where I'm like, why is she not immediately calling the police?
Yeah. Loved it. I also love that Danielle hears from Bree, please never go over there. And she's like, I'm going to go there right now. Also, she's a teenager. I think she's 15. Let's say, you know what these ages are like on this show. Anywhere from 15 to 18. The blazer feels...
Oh, Megan.
It does not feel...
It looks like something Susan would wear.
The fact that we've not found Danielle's sense of style yet, I don't think.
No, it takes time.
It's been all over the place.
It takes time.
So Danielle apparently left Matthew a note, sorry, to come meet her at the park that day. And Danielle's a grass, but I truly get it because age 15, age 16, maybe age 17, yeah, maybe also be a little bit of a grass. She puts it all out there that her mum saw Caleb in the window, the connection to Gaby, and the voicemails she's left the gals about it. And Danielle's saying she wants to help. She's saying she saw the boy. He says Caleb. She says, is that his name? And she decides a passive... I guess what you've said before, mutually assured destruction. She says, hey, you know, my mum is covering up vehicular manslaughter, if that is helpful. And he's like, oh, that is actually, in fact, extremely helpful.
This is what happens when Danielle has no more hair to brush. The girl needs to be kept busy.
That sounds like she went bald.
We were in for a wig.
I would love that if we saw Danielle brushing her hair and then she just takes the wig off and puts it in the side. Love that.
My goodness.
Oh, sorry, that's
okay.
the scene.
Okay. So Bree is getting ready for poker and Betty comes over to impose. It's not a good time for Bree, but Betty lets herself in anyway for a chat and essentially gives Bree the minimum info she needs to about Caleb, being her son, etc. And basically blackmails her by threatening to go to Gaby and Carlos and the police about Andrew running over Mama Solis, which is, again, incredible connection you made about bringing Dagny in and reminding us of that earlier for the setup. But yeah, she'll do that if Bree says anything about Caleb to anyone. Before the blackmail, though, Bree points out that the police are looking for Caleb, who, again, she chose not to call earlier. Insane. Betty makes some connection about the instinct to protect your children, to sort of compare their situations. But Betty is in full villain mode here. It's like she's come over to like reveal her evil plan. That's the vibe I'm getting, and I love it. The music is giving villain. It's very dramatic. She's got that overly full friendly voice, and I literally get chills watching this scene. Like, we see the other ladies, including Edie, approaching Bree's door, and they are buzzing to get the goss, only having been told it's something about the Applewhites. They're frothing at the mouth for this dirt. And then when the door goes back, it's like, it's rude to keep people waiting. And it's just like, ooh.
Oh, it's so good. I really love her line about, we're going to be great friends, Bree. We have so much in common.
I'm getting goosebumps. So Bree has to lie on the spot to the girls after taking a second to put on her usual emotionless mask. She reveals that she's discovered recently that Betty is quite the poker player and has invited her to join them going forward. And then, Betty comes in and the women are not subtle about their disappointment showing on their faces. Also, the range of outfits they're wearing is wild.
It's like one of those parties where it's like, tell everyone a different theme.
Edie's hoping that it'll turn into a full-blown night out. Susan's in her dressing gown.
Well, I think for Susan, this is the final stop. For Edie, this is pre-drinks. Yes. I also really like the idea, and I wish I'd heard it, of the voicemail Bree left Edie. I really want to know. I want to hear if she's like, hello, Edith.
Hello, Eddie.
But just like, I just thought that I would see you tonight at poker night and Edie's like, what? Why didn't you? If it were Edie, she would have just said it on the voicemail. Also, something interesting that I just realized. Thank goodness Danielle doesn't know the truth about George, because she definitely would have told Matthew that. Oh gosh. So, our final scene. And instead of a montage of all these different scenes, it's just the girls playing poker, which has never been done before. It's really interesting. We're staying in the same place. It's about, so everybody understands the nature of war, and Betty raises the stakes with the chips. We also understand that victory depends on the cards we are dealt. Some, when faced with a bloody battle, simply give in, and we see Edie, which I thought was interesting.
Because there was the whole thing about the beginning about her surrendering.
Exactly. Which kind of implies that even though she kind of had that little bit of a victory, long term, she's going to give in. But for some, surrender is unacceptable. And Betty says, well, Bree, what are you going to do? Even though they know it'll be a fight to the death. And this is one of those as well. I do think had the writers, I'm just going to say it, had they written Betty's arc to be more full and more of a full character, Bree and Betty together could have been phenomenal. If we'd had this reveal early doors, that Betty and Bree both knew these things about each other, and they almost getting a quiet respect for each other over a period of time, a little bit of enemies to lovers type of vibe. This would have been sensational.
It could have been so much
We could have had it all, guys. We could have had it all. Rolling in the deep.
Rolling in the deep. How many times is this show alone, let alone other shows, going to give us the poker metaphor with raising the stakes? I mean,
I'm so sick of it.
I'm so over it.
I'm so over it. Next time somebody says raising the stakes on television and it's something like that, I want someone to be picking up a plate that is full of 12 premium cut lean beef steaks and just goes... is your monster of the week?
My monster of the week is church candles. Fire hazard. Just out in the open like that. So many of them.
Mine is the spleen. Just as a concept. The spleen.
Just for existing.
The spleen.
Don't even know what it does.
Monster of the week. It's just, we have to, because I was like, the monster of the week, so you got to defeat. Susan's got to defeat her spleen.
Fair. Who is your worst neighbor?
That's a really great question. Okay, let me think about who was a neighbor. Let me go through all the arcs again. I know you're going to have a really funny answer for this. I always try and do it
Mine
off.
isn't particularly funny. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I put Brie because even though it obviously wasn't her intention, I'd be raging if I had a ritual like poker night with close friends and then someone else was randomly invited in without checking with the group first. So from the perspective of the neighbors coming to Brie's place, I'd be furious.
That is actually a really, really great one. I'm going to agree with you.
Okay, fair.
I think that'd be good.
Husbands, let's talk about the husbands.
Why don't you talk about them?
Okay. I put a 3 for Tom, and I want to say that I wanted to put it lower, but again, at the start of the episode, the whole him like staying up to help Lynette, even though he didn't need to and stuff, that put it up to a 3 for me.
Okay, I'll give him a 3. That's fine.
Okay.
I would have had him lower, but you know what? He's done worse.
He has done worse.
He will do worse.
I didn't put Carlos much higher, I put him at 4, and I thought about going higher because I like where it ended, but I always have this internal debate with Carlos because, with Tom, I'm raising him for the good stuff earlier, so with Carlos, I have to lower him from the stuff earlier, and ultimately, he spent most of the episode blackmailing his wife with an annulment, and so I can't really go above average.
No, and
so I put just below average.
He also is, in fact, having an emotional affair. So,
actually, maybe we could put it down to 3.
I think he's a 3.
Maybe even a 2.
I don't know. I'm not having Carlos beat Tom this season.
Let's be objective, ma'am. Let's be objective. We're looking at these individually.
Fine. Okay, I would say
I could be tempted by a 2 for him. Literally having an emotional affair, blackmailing his wife.
Yeah, 2.
If you compare that to bringing up the past.
I'm comparing that to, what was it, Reverend Mookins, the talking cow priest that Tom pitched Lynette that she ignored.
Or Moo Hefner in the Playboy cows.
That one did make me laugh. Can I ask, where would you rank Dr. Jimron?
It
sounds like Digimon.
It does. My instinct was almost to go, well, he's equally like beige and boring, so solid 5, but no, because he annoyed me with all his like storming off and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say 4 just
say
purely because I feel like Tom and Carlos did worse in this episode.
And then
I'm not gonna keep track of Ron's scores because I'm pretty sure he's not in more than like 3 or 4 episodes.
Mike's not there.
Yeah. So it is gonna be a 1v1 with Tom and Carlos.
Choose your fighter. I mean, I'm choosing Carlos.
Choose your Carlos.
Choose your Carlos. But yeah, I also think this episode in general, like, it's a strong episode, but it really brings up a question that we haven't considered before, which is, how would Carlos and Gaby react to the news about Andrew and Mama Solis?
And we'll get there. Not for a good few years, but...
Let's just say
it's on the agenda.
The writers forget about it for a little. I do enjoy the payoff.
Yeah, and because I mean, there's nothing I love more than things come in full circle. So the final season, linking back to the first season, is beautiful work.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we don't have Paul this episode. We don't have Felicia, even though we saw that she's back.
She'll be back soon, though.
We don't have Zach.
But it makes sense that they kind of forget about the Mama Solis thing, because I think from the character's perspective, over time, they're getting back to normal. They're going to kind of forget about it themselves, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whereas, the Vandy camps are wild. And I think we've already known this about Danielle, but we had this impression in our head anyway, because we've seen the show. But this is the beginning of like, oh, Danielle's just as messed up as the others in the Vandy camp house. Like, she kind of, in the first season, she's a bit emotional. she says some weird stuff, but she's sort of the voice of reason.
We don't get any Danielle-centered episodes. None of the plots are around her, and this is the first time we're getting that. And honestly, I can't think of a single Danielle plot line that I don't enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's great. Like, she is Rex. She is Rex Jr. And Andrew is Bree Jr. And those are going to bounce off each other in ridiculous ways, and I really enjoy it. Oh.
Do we think, because next week is episode 14, is that another Valentine's Day episode, do you think?
Episode 14 is called Silly People. It's not a Valentine's Day themed episode.
Boo.
If I didn't say it already, my quote of the week was Danielle's amazing monologue. My outfit of the week is Edie's lingerie right at the beginning of the episode.
Great choice. I thought your quote of the week was brrr.
I said it was nearly my quote of the week.
Nearly. Okay, fair.
Second place
Very
is
good. Excellent. Honorable mention.
Yeah.
And with that, we will leave you guys, and we'll see you next week for season 2, episode 14.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our wonderful patrons. Thank you to everyone who has listened. Thank you to my cat Maggie for being very quiet during the recording. Thank you to Jakub for putting up with me. And thank you to you all for staying desperate.
Stay desperate, baby. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Be sure to check out our Instagram for visuals, behind the scenes content, and more.
You can find us by searching for Modded, that's MEWDYD.
Or just search for Mary Alice, What Did You Do?
This podcast is brought to you entirely by us, Erin McGee
and Jakub Tanzi. If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to leave us a review. It really helps us out.
Join us next time for another episode of Mary Alice,
What Did You Do?